Thank you. It feels like it's sort of budget night in Canberra and everyone talking about the shenanigans of Canberra and politics. And so who's doing live tweets? I don't want to know any of them about budget night tonight. But everyone, take a seat and hopefully tonight you can meet everyone on your table. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the St Vincent's Curran Foundation Annual Evolution Giving Circle Dinner. For those who don't know me, and I know a lot of people in the room, my name's Jeremy Byrne. I wear lots of hats today. I'm a long-term partner in Coco Republic, who we're here tonight in this beautiful space. I'm a board director of the St Vincent's Curran Foundation, and I'm co-chair of the Evolution Advisory Committee. All three roles I'm equally as passionate about. I also like Chardonnay from Levantine Hill, 3 Victoria coffees a day, horses, furniture from Coco Republic, of course, native parrots and long walks on the beach. And this sort of sounds like the Hinge profiles of a few of our single guests who are here with us tonight. And for those sort of younger people, this was what Hinge was for us in our day, these sort of events. I'm delighted to be able to co-host you here tonight, together with my wonderful wife, Jo, along with Coco Republic CEO, Tim Schaufsma, Coco Republic General Manager, Carl Baker, who are here with us. And I particularly thank Tim and Coco Republic's generous support of the foundation, which has been ongoing over many years. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land where we meet tonight, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, who have loved and cared for this land for many years. And I pay my respect to the elders past, present and future. Tonight's conversation is centred on highlighting and strengthening the culture of medical and health innovation across the St Vincent's Health Innovation Precinct. St Vincent's hospitals have been trailblazers in health innovation care. This legacy dates back to our visionary founders, the Sisters of Charity, who foresaw the benefit of integrating of research institutes within the hospitals to support clinicians for seeking the funding, facilities and resources required for new treatments and cures, for the benefit of patients, and most importantly, for the benefit of the most vulnerable in our society. Now, I'm delighted to introduce you to my other co-host tonight, and the better half of this chair, Andrew Muston. He's a director at Rock Partners. As I said, he's my co-chair of the Evolution Advisory Committee, who along with his family are long-term supporters of St Vincent's. Both Andrew and I will jointly MC this evening, and I really do hope that our collective styles together, the Doubleheader Act, I hope it'll be a little bit more sort of Koshy and Mel and a little bit less Carl and Jackie O. But let's see how the night goes. Over to you, Andrew.
Oh, that's bright. Thank you, Jeremy. I did a very good job by sort of jumping up too early then, so off to a cracking start. Firstly, I just want to thank Jeremy for his opening remarks, and I wanted to wish everybody here a very warm welcome to the 2024 Evolution Giving Dinner. It's fantastic to see so many people here tonight. I remember when we started maybe 4 years ago, there was around 20 people here, and I think tonight we've got over 140 people. So a lot of old faces and a lot of new people, and thank you all for taking the time and for being here tonight. I wanted to also make a personal thank you to Jeremy and his lovely wife, Jo, for hosting us all here tonight at Coco Republic. It's extremely generous of you both. And your hospitality is very nice, so thank you to Jeremy and Jo. I would also like to extend my gratitude and appreciation to the other members of the Evolution Advisory Committee that are here tonight. We've got Matthew Duncan, Michael Frazis, Dr. Brett Levers, Anthony Liveris, Maggie Liu, Annie Long, Simon Mills, Annie Longley, sorry, Simon Mills, and of course, Annabelle Rogers, who's put in a huge amount of effort tonight. So thank you all. Now, the Evolution Advisory Committee collaborates to plan initiatives for the Evolution Giving Circle. Its goal is to engage with the dedicated individuals who share a deep commitment to advance the future of healthcare whilst fostering meaningful connections within the Evolution Giving community. This synergy propels St Vincent's to the forefront of innovation, ensuring outstanding healthcare whilst continually advancing and adapting. It's been 4 years since we established the Giving Circle, and that was in 2020. The Evolution Committee works with the St Vincent's Curran Foundation to help to engage a new generation of philanthropic donors for the organisation. The funding for the Evolution Circle is directed to our endowment fund, fortifying St Vincent's the ability I'm not as good as Jeremy, so we'll push through. But basically, we're sustaining exceptional care, groundbreaking research, and implementing cutting-edge technology and infrastructure. This support empowers St Vincent's to attract and retain exceptional talent, many of whom are here tonight. So we've got an amazing amount of clinicians that are here tonight, and a lot of patients as well. And they're going to share their story around why they're passionate about St Vincent's and why St Vincent's makes a real impact in people's lives, and why we should support the Evolution Giving Circle. So with that said, I would like to now introduce you to Richard Haddock, AO, who is the chairman of the St Vincent's Curran Foundation, and he will formally open up tonight's ceremony. So Richard.
God, I feel old in a suit and tie when I see someone like Andrew in his more casual white shoes, etc. But thanks very much, Andrew. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all here this evening to our 4th Evolution Giving Circle dinner. Amongst our guests earlier this evening was Charles Curran, the chair of the trustees of St Vincent's Curran Foundation, and he asked me to pass on his best wishes for the evening to all of you. Can I also acknowledge Foundation board members with us tonight, Louise Walsh, Maggie Liu, and of course, Jeremy Byrne. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Linda Patat. She's the Chief Operating Officer at St Vincent's Health Network Australia, and Matthew Ward, the Medical Director of St Vincent's Private Hospital. May I particularly, as Andrew did, thank Jeremy Byrne for hosting us here in this beautiful venue. Coco Republic is this year celebrating its 40th anniversary, and this is the result of 40 years of hard work by the Coco Republic team. You have wonderful premises here, you have wonderful products. I noticed they even have the tags on the chairs that we're going to sit on later on. And the prices have been discounted, Jeremy, by what, 50%? So anything you see here, 50% off. But thank you very much, Jeremy, and thanks everyone from Coco Republic for hosting us tonight. As the grandson of Paul and Elizabeth Curran, the founders of the Curran Foundation, and the nephew of Charles Curran, Jeremy is the epitome of intergenerational support for our foundation. His unwavering commitment and continued dedication in the development of the foundation is to be very much commended. Also, I wish to acknowledge and sincerely thank Andrew Muston, the co-chair with Jeremy of the Evolution Advisory Committee. Andrew and Jeremy are driving this initiative on behalf of the foundation. We thank you, Andrew, for all your strong commitment. We're appreciative of all you do, and in fact, all the people on the advisory committee. Thank you very much. The foundation has been fortunate over many years to have this type of intergenerational support from those who have followed in the footsteps of their business mentors, their fathers, their grandfathers, to become involved with our endeavours supporting St Vincent's Hospital. The Evolution Giving Circle is an important and foresightful initiative of St Vincent's Current Foundation looking to the future. Its purpose is to ensure we are able to connect with a new generation of supporters for the St Vincent's Current Foundation. Supporters who appreciate the importance of philanthropy and who have taken a keen interest in contributing to the advancement of healthcare and fostering discovery and innovation. Indeed, coming on the journey with us for a better future. As Jeremy mentioned, the Sisters of Charity, when they established St Vincent's Hospital so many years ago, relied heavily on philanthropy and community support to bring their vision to reality. We are following in their footsteps. This evening, we invite you to further strengthen your commitment to being involved over the long term in supporting St Vincent's. Your engagement and support as an Evolution Giving Circle member will not only assist in building strong philanthropic support in the immediate term, it will facilitate in continuing and strengthening the culture of philanthropy at St Vincent's and ultimately the delivery of exceptional clinical care for current and future generations. Our shared values of providing the best of healthcare to all and continuing to foster excellence and innovation in patient care, clinician education and medical research is so vitally important. Your support not only helps your loved ones, but society as a whole, and helps us to maintain the momentum that was established by many before us. The Evolution Giving Circle motto, "Be in it for good," encapsulates the desire of our new generation to support ongoing excellence in healthcare well into the future. Our sincere thanks to those of you who have already become a member of the Giving Circle and who are committed to making a difference. To those of you who may be newly introduced to the Circle, I encourage you to join, and in doing so, to feel the sense of satisfaction that comes through connecting with like-minded individuals, all committed to doing whatever can be done to protect the health of current and future generations. I encourage you all to be in it for good. Once again, I thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks, Richard. And I think the key words Richard there's always about 10 things I take away from when Richard speaks, but, it's healthcare for all. You talked about for all. And before I jump back into my notes, I think that's a big part of why I've been involved with St Vincent's for over 15 years now on the board, is because the programs we've worked on, obviously tonight we're hearing about innovation, and which is a critical part of what we do. But we've worked on both, incredible work about 8-9 years ago on the acute mental health wards, and there was a deep program on that, and that was, it was unbelievable to see the impact that the foundation had on there. Then there was a program about Aboriginal health, and because obviously there's quite a significant community that needs support around the hospital. There's a big program on homeless health and what's happening at the Green Park. The hospital purchasing the Green Park so we can do a homeless health sort of centre to make it more comfortable. So the for all is sort of why I've been involved 15 years. Hopefully it's another 15, 20, 25 years. We hear about a lot of other charities, about the shiny charities, but what we do in the funds we raise at an incredible cost of fundraising, and it's all going to communities, what I'm passionate about. Sorry to interrupt there, but I had to just make that comment because it's, I thought it was a great point of Richard's. But thank you. But one thing I will say, Richard, you probably did sort of make it look like I'm up for canonisation. It was a little bit too generous. Those comments about me. I don't know if Jo would necessarily agree with them all. Hopefully she does, my wife. But thank you for those nice sentiments. As I said, I'm proud of the incredible work we do. We heard about my grandparents started the foundation 40 years ago this year, and my uncle Charles Curran, who's been the driving force and inspiration of the foundation for 40 years, he's provided incredible leadership, as has Richard as the chairman of the board and the executive team. They do an incredible job, and it's quite motivating. Also, I'd like to acknowledge tonight that intergenerational piece. My cousin Charles Curran, or Charles Edward Curran, is here with us tonight, and Bernard Curran and Charles's wife Anna. They do incredible work for the hospital too, and very lucky for what they do. Tonight, we do invite you to consider joining the circle, and tonight's about you understanding what we're doing. But for us, it's many people that have joined the circle, and it's our 40th anniversary year of the foundation, and as coincidentally, and Coco Republic, which is a total coincidence, and so we'd love to have 40 new people joining our circle tonight or over this period, because we feel like that would be a great milestone. With 140 people in the room tonight, it would be great to have those people joining this giving circle. So donations go towards our current endowment fund. So this plays a critical role for clinicians, with no better example of why the foundation was formed 40 years ago. That was for being to support the cutting edge and nationally and internationally recognised St Vincent's Heart Transplant Program, which also celebrated 40 years. Only 2 weeks ago, we had the Prime Minister and Mr. Jimmy Barnes in attendance and give keynote speeches. So the endowment provides critical, innovative programs that are really the startup funding for those programs within the hospital. Examples of that, and again, looking at the array of programs, a couple of examples are, funding clinical trials for methamphetamine replacement therapy. Another one is the startup of, the first virtual care clinic for COVID during the pandemic. We did an emergency response to support with that. And it's also, funding into the use of PET scans on imaging tests to avoid the need for biopsies for diagnosing prostate cancer. So the endowment is in perpetuity, so it doesn't go away. We don't spend it, and then we invest that money. And every year, it's up to about $40 million now, that endowment, from the initial $500,000. And we invest well over $1 million every year in these grassroots programs. And that's in addition, so that's obviously what we do with the grants, but that's in addition to the $40 million plus, and Shanthony there will be there saying, well, no, it's $43.5 million last financial year, but for the $40 million plus of special project fundraising that the foundation coordinates across the campuses for innovation and other programs in the hospital. So everyone's commitment, the current members and the future members, to growing that endowment is going to make sure that this culture of philanthropy within the hospital and innovation continues into the next generation, to ensure St Vincent's is well placed to respond to the challenges of the future in the St Vincent's way, as we like to say, whatever those challenges may be. So before our entree, we'd like to start just a very short video to provide a snapshot of some of the incredible achievements in heart-lung treatment and care at St Vincent's Sydney. So why we're keen to show this video, the group that started this program 40 years ago was not dissimilar to all of us here tonight. They were young, at least some of you are, not necessarily me now at 45, successful, most of you are much more successful than me, but you're all wanting to do more for innovation for the benefit of our community. So without the coalescence of that group, the group that Charles Curran Sr. put together 40 years ago, the innovation that occurred that we see tonight, it literally would not have happened. So I'm really excited, and that's, as Andrew is, as the Evolution Giving Circle Committee is, we're really excited to get that next group that want to get together, and hopefully we're watching videos like this in 10, 20, 30 years of what we've done together to create something incredibly special that people around the world are talking about, clinicians are coming to learn about, and that's what I want to be a part of, and hopefully all of us in this room are. So finally, if you do want to contribute, we've got foundation staff on most tables. The incredible team from the foundation are unbelievable. There's a QR code on the back of your programs, and obviously it's tax deductible. And the team are here to support. And if it's tonight, if it's in a year, if it's in 5 years' time, we'd like to connect with you all and be in it for good to ensure that we take innovation to the next level at St Vincent's. So over to you with the video, guys. Thank you.
But if I can have your attention quickly, we've got a few more speeches to get through, hopefully less painful than last time. And as David Chambers so politely said, if we raise enough money, we can get an MC for next time, so I don't need to do this again. Fantastic. Boo, yeah, boo, David. As co-chair of the Evolution Advisory Committee, a role that I not only love, but I've undertaken to see the opportunity and the potential to make a real difference in doing my part to grow the network of younger philanthropic supporters at the Curran Foundation. Growing the younger cohort of supporters is key if we want to provide continuity of funding into the future to support the exceptional care and research delivered across the St Vincent Hospital network in New South Wales. This is a real opportunity to get involved with such an essential healthcare network, contributing to the delivery of care while actively participating in its evolution and its innovation. In planning for this event, the Evolutionary Advisory Committee wanted to showcase the pioneering nature of St Vincent's. And in doing so, we wanted to showcase our new Discovery and Innovation campaign that advocates for better healthcare in Australia. This program will enhance clinical research, innovation, and entrepreneurship across the St Vincent's healthcare precinct. It is clear that science has, sorry, wrong page. Oh, we're off to another win, okay. Innovation in medical research has always been a driving force behind progress in healthcare. And in today's rapidly evolving world, the need for continuous innovation in medical research has never been more critical. We're at the cusp of a healthcare revolution where breakthroughs in medical research, technology, and treatment hold the promise of transforming the way we prevent, diagnose, and treat diseases. Science plays a fundamental role in our ability to tackle major challenges faced by our nation. It has a pivotal role in the development of ideas, systems, and processes necessary to ensure that all Australians have access to secure, prosperous, and an equitable society. Over the last decade, leading up to 2020, Australia's investment in research and development has declined to a new low point. As government investment in R&D falls, the incentive for industry falls with it. It's perhaps no surprise that productivity growth within the last 20 years has been the slowest over the same time period. We basically need science to improve our health, and we need to turn these discoveries into cures that can be used at our patients at St Vincent's and beyond. It is clear that science has never been more vulnerable, more valuable, and with record low levels of investment, it has never been more vulnerable. Now, I get the very good luck of introducing a very close friend of mine, Anthony Liveris, who actually met his wife 4 years ago at our first event when he moved back. When he moved back from the States. And Michael Frazis, who's also here tonight, who's a close friend that I met through St Vincent's, he said, look, Ant, he's new, he wants to meet a few people, must he, I think we did a walk through the botanical gardens. So it was a lovely mandate, and then we became very, very close friends since we had his wedding last year in Greece and his Bucks party in Scotland, which was fantastic. And as I said, he met his beautiful wife here, Amelia, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, but he met her here 4 years ago. And he's going to come up today and talk about what he's doing in the world of innovation and health. So Anthony, if I could please welcome you to the stage.
Well done, mate. I think we should all...
It's a team match. Yeah, I think so.
I think we're all, unless you wanted to sort of stage the panel. Andrew. Well, let's take a seat. Andrew, I don't think I had any idea what you were getting me into 3 years ago. So that's a warning to all of you newcomers. You know, following Andrew to any of these events works out for the best. You've done an incredible job building a purpose-driven community, and I'm really grateful to you and Jeremy just to be a small part of it. And I think that's what we're trying to sort of emphasize tonight. I know he's not in the room with us now, but I think it's important as we talk about innovation to acknowledge a real true innovator in Charles Curran. Yeah, please. We're speaking a lot about intergenerational transfer of power and responsibility, but very few leaders do that right. And I hope that vision has been on display this evening and on this panel right now. So as Andrew mentioned, I have devoted my life really to commercializing Australian research. We are awesome here. We produce the most biotech IP per capita in the world. Yet, as Andrew was saying, we're near bottom of the OECD in commercialization. I see that as an opportunity, but I think we also need to look the problem straight in the eye. We have some of the smartest people in the country, and I'm very lucky to be joined by a couple of them sitting next to me. But our inability to translate this research has real-world consequences. Our smartest minds aren't having their research come to market, and patients are suffering from that. There's glimmers of hope. St. Vincent's Precinct is perhaps the best untapped research ecosystem in the country. I think the conversation Jennifer, Amber, and I are about to have about what that actually means in practice. So let me just introduce my co-panelists jointly here. Dr. Jennifer Massey is a St. Vincent staff specialist in neurology and the clinical research lead on cellular therapy. Dr. Massey was awarded her PhD for her work investigating stem cell transplants to treat multiple sclerosis. She not only leads this function at St. Vincent's, but has also lived the life of a clinical researcher, applying for government grants, as well as an active mentor to many young women entering the discipline. Also joining us is Amber Adair.
No.
She's truly one of our inspiring patients whose life has changed throughout her journey with St. Vincent's, and she's really graciously agreed to share some of that journey with us today. So please thank you to you both. Jen, I'm gonna turn to you first. We have a really important story to tell tonight, but I was hoping you could help me set the scene and potentially kind of deconstruct some of these buzzwords like innovation and what that actually means in practice to your world, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I guess I'd just like to echo your sentiments and those outlined by Richard, and also just to thank Richard, Jeremy, the Curran Foundation, Charles Curran for having us, and Tim also for having us in Coco Republic tonight. So as you said, so I'm a neurologist, and my particular passion, an area of clinical practice, but also research, both in clinical trials, but also translational research, is multiple sclerosis. We're going to hear a little bit more about that shortly. And I think, at the risk of sounding overly gratuitous, I was actually saying this very honestly to Jeremy earlier. I've worked in lots of different health systems all around the country, and there is quite truly no one pushing the pioneering medical research and that interface between medical science and clinical practice like St Vincent's. So, you know, to answer your question, what does innovation mean? I think innovation means starting from a strong, a robust foundation in what we know about medicine, about how we can practice medicine in a resource-limited environment, and using our knowledge and our drive and our passion to try and provide the best healthcare for everyone in our community. And again, we'll probably get into this in a second, but I've been very well supported by the St Vincent's and St Vincent's Curran Foundation's passion for research and for medical innovation, and I think that has flowed on to many of our patients in our community more broadly.
And just, if you wouldn't mind double-clicking on that, when you sort of see St. Vincent's as an innovator, what does that mean in your practice?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we are very lucky. We attract an amazing, probably world leaders in a myriad of different medical specialties, and St Vincent's offers those leaders and those clinician researchers, allied health staff, nursing staff, the opportunity to pursue their passion. And so for example, as we touched upon, everyone's very well aware of the limitations in healthcare in Australia, globally, and I think St Vincent's, through its unique relationship with philanthropy, through its unique relationship with the Curran Foundation, has provided financial support for clinical trials, for staffing, for translational research, so that's laboratory research, that sort of concept of bed, bench side to bed and bed back to the bench side, to study diseases that have eluded treatment for a long time, and we saw that really nicely outlined in the video earlier about the advances that we've seen in heart and lung disease. But the reality is that at the St Vincent's campus, those advances are also happening in autoimmunity, in neurology, in gastrointestinal liver disease, in haematology. It's more than just what you've seen so far. So, I think we should be very proud of what's been done so far in the St Vincent's community, but there's also, a lot more work to do.
I want to tie that to you, Amber, because you are an innovator, but you also have a very personal, moving story on your journey with St. Vincent's. If you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about where that journey began.
So I finished high school. I was 18, and I was in that sweet spot between high school and uni, like the summer holidays where you have no responsibilities. There's an 18th every weekend. It was the best. And suddenly my vision in my right eye started to disappear, and that got gradually worse over a few weeks. So my mum and I went to the hospital. I ended up having a steroid drip for a few days, and I naively thought, oh, that was just a blip. Life can go on. But a series of tests and appointments over the next few years showed that was my first MS flare-up. So I started being looked after by some neurologists at St Vincent's. So over the next 17-ish years, I guess, I would go into a drug and have a flare-up, try another drug, and it wasn't holding the MS back. So I got to 2018 and had the opportunity to have a stem cell transplant. And I guess we'll talk a bit more about that in a second, but it's been a long connection with St Vincent's for me.
No, and I think that's a perfect way to sort of help us continue. So in 2018, how did that stem cell transplant come about?
Yep. So I'll go back a few years before I was watching TV, and I saw a woman called Christy Cruz. It was 60 Minutes, and she was discussing. She'd just been recently diagnosed with MS, and she ended up fundraising about $100,000 to go over to Russia to have this thing called a stem cell transplant, which I hadn't heard about before. And she documented how grueling it was, but eventually she had a really great outcome, and her life seemed to go on as it had before. So at my next appointment, I talked to my neurologist and said that I'd seen this really cool thing. How about it? And he said, oh, look, we're not at that stage to be talking about that yet. But unfortunately, a couple of years later, I was at that stage. He was really upfront. He gave me lots of information about exactly what a stem cell transplant involved. It's very physically unpleasant. You lose your hair. You probably can't have kids anymore. It's physically really demanding on your body. But I thought that I can do hard, I can do unpleasant if the benefit at the end was as good as I thought it could be. So I really pushed, advocated for myself. I said I'm committed to do it. So that kind of started almost a year, I'd say, of appointments and tests to make sure I was a suitable candidate. And then I met with the people at the Kinghorn Cancer Centre, and yeah, we went from there.
It's and that self-advocating, I mean, that's what I think I'm referencing with innovation, taking that front foot for your own care. And I think what I'm trying to segue to is finding a hospital system that was a constructive partner and thinking that through with you. Jennifer, would you mind just helping illustrate what that trial looked like and the evolution of that research as well?
Yeah, thank you. So I think I could even tell you what number in our clinical trial Amber was, because I feel like I know this patient base like the back of my hand. So stem cell transplant is a process that is used in a few different autoimmune diseases, including most commonly in multiple sclerosis. And the idea there is that basically we're using heavy-duty chemotherapy to knock out someone's existing immune system. And then prior to the chemotherapy, we collect someone's blood stem cells. And historically, that was done as a bone marrow aspirate, which is really painful, very difficult for patients. More recently, it's via a big drip. You can justify that. A big drip in the arm to collect the blood stem cells. People have chemotherapy. As Amber's explained, it's incredibly challenging to get through that period, and the early period after the chemotherapy, the blood stem cells go back in and grow a new immune system. And so the idea is that we're basically, it's a bit of a simplification, but pressing reset on your immune system that was driving the autoimmune disease in the first place. And this treatment's been used since probably the late 90s globally. St Vincent's was the first centre in the Southern Hemisphere to be performing this treatment in under the governance of a clinical trial. And so to date, we've now had about 80 people with MS who have had this transplant, this procedure at our centre. And so I joined the program in 2017. Prior to that, as I said, it was being run by our haematology colleagues, Professor John Moore and Ian Sutton, and I've joined with Barbara Withers, who's in the audience as well. We work very closely together now to sort of take the next generation of patients through this procedure. And we've been, again, very lucky that we've had the support of philanthropy, both for staffing, for resourcing. But this studying the way that the immune system resets after this treatment has allowed us to gain significant insights to MS as a disease. And this concept, again, that was sort of highlighted, I think, in the video, so we've now been sort of assigned the New South Wales State Centre for this treatment. This treatment's increasingly being recognised as an important or essential treatment for people with MS. And so, we now have the plan for retained funding in the future for people with MS who need this essential treatment. And we continue to collaborate with colleagues internationally about trying to understand how we can treat autoimmune diseases with this type of therapy rather than just the historical approach of immune suppression.
And to really simplify for me, so there's an existing pathway, but there's one that's in consideration that would have much better side effects, much more manageable. Is that fair?
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that we're interested in our cellular therapies unit. So as Amber experienced, the toxicity that is associated with chemotherapy. I mean, everyone would have been aware of, everyone knows someone who's been through chemotherapy. As you lose your hair, you feel sick, your mouth's covered in ulcers, you get tummy pains, you're washed out, and there's risks of, effects on fertility, which is really important when you're thinking about a condition like MS that predominantly affects women in their childbearing years, okay? And so the idea that we are pursuing within the cellular therapies unit is how we can, instead of giving people these conventional chemotherapy drugs, how we can target someone's own immune system to be reset. And so sometimes that is with specific immunotherapy drugs, but the evolution, the area of predominant interest at the moment in this space is what's called T-cell therapy or other immunotherapy, where we, instead of taking someone's stem cells and then giving chemotherapy and putting them back in, whether we can take specific immune cells that we can engineer to fight those rogue or bad cells that are driving autoimmune disease. And so that's our pathway for innovation,
So what do we need for these autologous T cells to be widely available?
Yeah, money. So we have the knowledge, right? We have the staff. We have people who have come from overseas to work at St Vincent's. We have nursing staff who are eager to support this program. We have trials, clinical trials staff. But to run a clinical trial is not straightforward. We need staffing, space, and support, really. And so it's all of those resourcing issues. We obviously have a patient base, people, there is no shortage of people eager to, be involved in this research. But it's really about having the resources in place to be able to do so.
It's you're meant to be our genius, right? You're not also meant to be our salesperson and government grant specialist, right? Which is this whole other piece of funding, which I think is a bit of a myth that I'm hoping you can deconstruct, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have the bandwidth to apply for meaningful government financing? How?
Yeah, no, look, that's a really valid point. So I've been involved in a few successful government research grants, and those systems are incredibly laborious, and you really, once you kind of see how the sausage is made, you realise how difficult it is, I think, for people coming from a clinical practice background to get into that space. So the work that we've been successful with in the past has been more looking at the origins of MS and what triggers MS in certain individuals, and that has been very well supported by medical research institutions or scientific research institutions. But I think if you're a clinician and all you've ever done is kind of patient care, it's very different to learn to put on a different hat and to be able to write a successful grant, because I'm sure this is the same in every industry. There is a formula that people are looking for, and that kind of gets propagated, and so it is challenging. And certainly, I think I shared with you earlier that a lot of our research has been well supported by philanthropy, because that is just such a it is such an essential part to those early pioneering trials and research work. And so look, I think obviously science needs to be robust and needs to be well assessed, and so it's important those processes are in place, but those processes are also in place when people have funding from the Curran Foundation, and it's a similar grant process, to be honest. So I think this idea of kind of seed or pilot studies is incredibly valuable.
Amber, I'd like to just bring it back to you and hear a little bit more of how's life now, and what does your relationship with St. Vincent's and Dr. Massey look like now?
Yeah. Life is great now. I can't really overstate the impact that the transplant has had for me. So beforehand, I'd been on various drugs since I was about 19 or 20. I haven't been on any medication for 6 years now. I haven't had any flare-ups. My MRIs are stable, which is miraculous to me. So going from injecting myself every day, dealing with the side effects, so there's the physical stuff, which is awful, but also the mental side where it takes up so much of my mental real estate. And I also, prior to the transplant, I was quite fearful about the future, and I didn't really think too much about it. But now I can kind of get through the day without feeling like I'm a sick person. I can make plans about the future. I'm not dosing myself up. I have way more energy than I did in my 20s. And I feel great, and I'm looking forward to the future. So I can't really overstate how transformative it's been.
Look, I could try to end somewhere else, but we're not going to beat that. So please just thank you to you two as well for all of it. That's it.
Thank you. My friend sitting next to me, Jeremy Bull, I just heard him say, "What an amazing story," and I thought that's a great summary. That was inspiring. Thank you so much to Jennifer and Amber. That really was inspiring, and that really is a beautiful summary of an example of the work the foundation and more importantly what the hospital does, and these brilliant people like Jennifer and these courageous patients like Amber. And so thank you to you for your story, and thank you to Anthony. That was incredible. And thank you for I think we found a new sort of expert on panel discussions within the foundation. You sort of take the mantle. Congratulations. I'd like to introduce Linda Patate. Linda is the COO, the Chief Operating Officer of St Vincent Health Network Australia. The executive and the people running the hospitals are heavily involved in all the work that we do. And Linda just wants to share a vision of the discovery and innovation across the precinct. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Jeremy. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Just wanted to thank Anthony, Jennifer and Amber. Amber, I'm so pleased you're well, and I'm so pleased that you found the expert clinicians at St Vincent's. I've had the pleasure of working at St Vincent's as the Chief Operating Officer since June last year. Came for 3 months and decided to stay. The hearts and minds, the intelligence, the world-class expertise of our clinicians is second to none. I've been working in healthcare for 36 years. I'm a nurse by profession. I've run a lot of hospitals in the last 20 years across each state. And I can honestly say that I've never worked in an environment that has the secret sauce that St Vincent's does. The Miracle Mile, the Health and Innovation Precinct, it is really impressive. And as a nurse that's crossed to the dark side, as a bureaucrat, it's a hard gig to sit in front of some of these impressive people every day and say no. Unfortunately, my part of the business is funded by government funding. And you can imagine that it's a fair call. There's a model for funding in government public hospitals, and it does rely on established evidence and thousands of occasions of service to determine the cost construct for each patient. How horrible does that sound? But what we get to do at St Vincent's is why I choose to stay, which is we have this amazing enterprise in the foundation that funds really critical innovation and research that we get to translate for people like Amber and their families. And it's every day that I get to meet people and patients who are here as a result of the forefront of research and the groundbreaking work that our clinicians do. I'm really privileged that the Curran assists us to support our clinicians and the work that they do every day. And I, as I said, I feel really privileged and intend to spend a bit of time here and making sure that the bureaucrats of the world can help our clinicians to make a difference in the lives of others. I've had the privilege of meeting people in the last few months that are here as a result of the 40 years of groundbreaking research. It is truly transgenerational. I've met children and grandchildren of people who are alive today because of the research translated into practice. And we're now funding standard operating procedures in all public hospitals around Australia and the world as a result of the work that started in St Vincent's as a direct result of people like yourselves who were generous enough to think about their legacy and how they might contribute to a network and a group of people who, when working together, can really make a difference. From small things, big things grow. So thank you for your attendance tonight. Someone wrote me a speech and I've read not one word from it. But I did want to say a really heartfelt thank you to the Curran Foundation, and thank you for the work of the Evolution Giving Circle and the dinner tonight. And I've had great pleasure hearing about the history over the last very small years, a small group of people, 14, 20, that's turned into a night like tonight. And I look around the room and talking to people that I've met tonight, your own business, philanthropy and networks, when they join up, can really make a difference in the lives of the people that we serve. The people that we serve and that I get to talk to every day are those that are often from different circumstances than those in this room. And, you know, we had a story just yesterday of a gentleman who had been sleeping rough for 10 years that we had been looking after, who we finally were able to settle in some more permanent accommodation. And the council wrote to us about his story because he's a very well-known gentleman around the area. And I think about things like that every day when I come to work and I see people outside of our emergency department. And I know that through the work of our clinicians and our services, at some point their lives will change. I would like to just acknowledge and thank, on behalf of Anna McFadgen, who is the CEO of St Vincent's Hospital Public, and Matt Wall, my colleague in arms, the General Manager of the private, is in the hospital as well. And Matt and I take great pleasure in working together across the precinct with our research partners, philanthropy and innovation to continue the legacy of the Sisters of Charity. You would have seen in the video, our sisters are well loved. I've learned very warmly that when the sisters walk into the building, everybody knows it. There's always a relief or a heartfelt outward pouring of real gratitude. And I'm pleased to say that since 1868, those visionary founders, I think, have set the tone for strong women of a particular ilk, some of which are in the room as well today. And it's a privilege to support women in leadership, women in medicine, women in innovation and research, and to support men who support their agendas. And I think International Nurses Day was on Sunday. It was Flo's birthday. It's a great day to be in a room with a really good group of people who are all thinking about the same things in life. So without any further ado, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone for coming. If you can, for those that are already a part of the St Vincent's family, thank you genuinely. What you do every day is felt within the wards of our services, and we talk about it often. We talk about it daily. So I never want you to think that it's a donation in the background that nobody gets to talk about or feel or really revere, to be honest. And for those that are thinking of joining, I would really encourage you to do so. It's something that I think your own network and how you then progress your own agenda, initiative and legacy is something that you can really come to the forefront with. I've met some patients through these gatherings who have worked with us at our planning days around designing care that really looks after patients and their families. So I think that's a really lovely way of giving back for those that have experienced the healthcare in St Vincent's. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. I hope you enjoy your evening. You spend lots of time talking to the foundation staff. And yeah, just thank you for being here. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you very much, Linda. I'll just be very brief. Thank you, Linda, and I think Linda's words is a great example of that mission of the hospital, the way it's passed from the sisters down through these incredible people that are providing care and running these organisations with that compassion, and that was really inspiring. Thank you. We'll take another break to enjoy your main courses. I'd like to make sure you enjoy I'd like to just really highlight one sponsor tonight, the Dressati family, who are the owners of Levantine Hill, the producers of these exceptional wines. We'd just like to thank them. They're incredibly generous. A big round of applause. I think we'll all agree the wines are delightful. And we thank them. I actually, about a month ago, called up and asked for their sort of direct-to-consumer person, because it was like, that wine is incredible. But it is incredibly generous what they do for the foundation across many events. So a big thank you to them. Yes? Oh yeah, Melissa. Thank you, Melissa, for representing Levantine Hill tonight. And we're incredibly grateful for your support tonight and across what you do for the foundation. Thank you. Enjoy main course, everyone.
Apologies, it's me. It's me one last time. One last time. Trust me, I want to be doing this less than you believe. But we're closing out this evening tonight, and I just want to say thank you again, everybody, for coming. And we thought it'd be a good idea to get a few of our Evolution Giving Circle members to speak tonight. So the first person up is Michael Frazis, who I've been mates with for a long time. And I just want to ask you, I guess, a few questions around why you enjoy being part of St Vincent's and part of the Giving Circle. So Mike, what you studied undergrad chemistry at Oxford. Good start, mate.
I'll come up. I'll keep
Jump
quick.
up.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. So I run an investment fund. We're looking at a company. It had been doing very well. It had been explosive growth. It was an American company that did like transplants, and then we decided actually we'd better try and read the like original papers of where this science came from. And to my surprise, it actually came from St Vincent's. So that was that like heart in a box stuff that you might have seen on the TV earlier. So that technology is now being commercialized. It's a multi-billion-dollar company in the United States. It's soon going to be the standard of care, and every transplant surgeon in heart, liver, and lung is talking about it in the United States. So I was amazed that actually came from like St Vincent's and part of this foundation's work as well. So that was impressive, and it was great to see.
Thank you. We're going to give the speech over to... So the next speaker we have is Nikki, who's also part of the Evolution Giving Circle. By the look in your face, I'm assuming you didn't think that you were speaking. So feel free to dodge the mic as Craig runs towards your table.
I won't run.
Hi, so I joined last year, and I guess a bit of a reason why I joined. Almost 9 years ago now, my dad had a heart attack and he was rushed to St Vincent's, and if it wasn't for the amazing care of some of the doctors at St Vincent's, he wouldn't be here today. So me joining the Evolution Giving Circle is just a little way for me to give back and stay involved in the St Vincent's community.
Thank you, Nikki. And now I believe Jeremy is speaking.
Oh, no. Annabelle.
You're up.
We're seamless until then. I let myself down at the end, sorry. Thank you. Well done. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you to everyone for the great insights, but there are some examples of, I know there's many members of the, at our last event, Anna Longley spoke so eloquently about her involvement and her family, and everyone has a connection. And thank you to all involved. In wrapping up, and please stay around, there's, we don't have restrictions. Enjoy and mingle and get to know each other, because that's what tonight's about. But, thank you for all being here. Please consider, joining this group on a more permanent basis, as we've talked about tonight, and we've talked about how you can do that. Just with my Coco Republic hat on, my colleague Carl, the General Manager here, has kindly organised a gift bag per couple, which has our beautiful signature room scent in a beautiful bottle. It's amazing. And thank you to Carl for arranging and a beautiful interior design service that his team will enable. So thank you, Carl, for that. I'd now like to, invite Annabelle Rogers, who's the Director of Development at the St Vincent's Curran Foundation, to share her vision for the Evolution, group, and to give a vote of thanks. And I just want to say thank you all. It's been a great night. Great to be with such an engaged group of people. I think we all understand, for the new people here tonight, how we're different than other organisations. And I think all the speakers encapsulated that. So hopefully together we can continue that mission of giving back to others and helping those in need in the community as they enter St Vincent's and the precinct. But thank you, and over to you, Annabelle. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. What an amazing job you and Andrew have both done tonight. Such an inspiring and heartfelt evening. For those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Annabelle Rogers, the Director of Development at St Vincent's Curran Foundation. My sincere thanks to each and every one of you for joining us here tonight for our 4th annual Evolution Giving Circle dinner. As Winston Churchill said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. In choosing to support St Vincent's through the Evolution Giving Circle, you join a group of like-minded emerging community and business leaders striving to make a difference and to embed the traditions of philanthropy into their lives and into those of their families. We hope that in doing so, you will also gain greatly from lifelong connections and friendships as special members of the St Vincent's family. I'd like to welcome the newest additions of the Evolution Giving Circle that have joined tonight. So thank you so much, David Chambers, Sandra Harris, Melissa Gisrati, I'll just keep doing it on a pause, Kate Sanchez, Agata Kenya, Rajan Gulchul, Michael Ashton, Paul Kochineas, Daniel Haddon, Mitch Danzy, I'm sorry, Emma, on your surname, Emma Pergomella, sorry, that is not right. Nicholas Tonkin, Alex and Christy Dada, and Alistair Champion. Thank you so much for joining the family. And Robert Holt, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Robert. I'd like to acknowledge and sincerely thank Charles Curran, Chairman of Trustee, Richard Haddock, Chairman of St Vincent's Curran Foundation Board, and Shanthini Naidu, CEO of St Vincent's Curran Foundation. Thank you so much for your vision, leadership and support. It's a great privilege and pleasure to be able to work so closely together and learn from you who've done so much for our community. Thank you so much. A very special thank you to our brilliant co-chairs, Jeremy Byrne and Andrew Muston, for hosting the evening. What a superb job you've done. You continue to excel year on year. I can't wait for next. Thank you to the Advisory Committee for your ongoing support, commitment and passion. Your efforts to make tonight's success is greatly appreciated by the entire Foundation team. Anthony Liveris, Chairman of St Vincent's Discovery and Innovation Campaign, and an Evolution Advisory Committee member. You're marvellous. As one of your many hats, you can also add guest speaker too, so thank you so much. Dr. Jen Massey, thank you for your time tonight, especially because I know you're on call. It really means a lot. Your dedication every day in work with our patients and providing them with the support and care needed to access essential healthcare to improve their lives is greatly appreciated, as well as your work in uncovering groundbreaking innovations and research at St Vincent's that not only changes lives, but is shaping the future of neuroscience. So thank you so much. And Amber Adair, it's been such a privilege to get to know you just briefly, and thank you so much for sharing your personal perspective with us tonight. It was so heartfelt, and you're such a special individual, so strong, and I'm so thankful that you entrusted St Vincent's to provide the care that has helped transform your health and life. A massive thank you to you, Jeremy and Joe, sorry I can't see you. Sorry, I'm blind. Thank you so much for your generous support for tonight, and along with the entire team at Coco Republic for hosting us in this beautiful space. Here's to another 40 years of Coco Republic. We are so grateful to our corporate partners, Levantine Hill Wine and Victoria, for their ongoing support, to our Evolution Dinner tonight, and for so many other events throughout the year. We were delighted to have you here this evening, and also our guests from Morgan Stanley, Merivale, Dyer Jones Real Estate, Willara, and Cloud staff. We are also welcome our newest corporate partner, Bonnet's Advisory, who has just joined the St Vincent's family. So thank you so much. And thank you to the event extraordinaires, Craig McCall and Flavia, for creating such a special evening. Thank you to my colleagues and amazing teammates, Jennifer Dobbins, Ellie Factor, Nate Links, Eloise Steiner, Rowan Lyons, for bringing from the St Vincent's Curran Foundation for all your work with bringing this to life. As you've heard, the Evolution Giving Circle provides an opportunity for young entrepreneurs, media specialists, and the next generation of supporters to connect and build on the culture of philanthropy at St Vincent's. This group is fundamental to our future. We look to you to help us generate the funding that has enabled us to continue to provide exceptional care for years ahead. And finally, thank you to all of you for joining us here tonight. I hope you feel a special part of the St Vincent's family, and I hope you will consider being in it for good with us. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night.